Hello, this is Jed Thone here, and I'm going to give you a quick, hopefully very quick, demonstration on how this cemetery map system works. We fly over the map site with a drone. Everything is mapped out, GIS map certified, well not certified, but GIS maps. It's got all the GPS locations and everything in there. And it gives us this nice overlay, and then we add all these pips for each plot, which is kind of hard to see right now, but this button here allows us to overlay the original hand-drawn maps from the 1860s over the drone map. So now we have all the plots mapped out in accordance with the original maps from the 1860s that were hand-drawn at the time. It's a best fit mapping at this point. It's not absolutely perfect, but it is close enough for marking all the plots with each individual pip. And as you can tell, each pip is a plot on the map. So it contains, in the background is a database that has all the information on who's buried, who owns the plot, when they were, well, when their birth years and date of death, if it was available at the time or is on the tombstone. That's also in there. And it's fully searchable. So we hit this search button right here. We type in Dudley. And notice all the other pips disappear from the map except for the two plots that are owned by the Dudley family. They own plot A35 and plot A34. They own two plots right next to each other. So we'll click on A35 because I know A34 is empty. We put all of their information in A35 because they own two adjacent plots. The square footage of this plot is listed as 688 square feet. Size notes, so this is these are like the survey markings that you have to have for properties. So this is a verbal description roughly of the size of the plot and the price that they paid for it, as well as the date purchased down here, purchased in 1860, and the owner is Hiram Dudley, who was buried on the plot in 1863, January 22nd. And this here is all the different people buried in plots A34 and A35 in this case. We can also search by first name. So this is Sophia. Sophia Rangley Regnier in there. Now we have all the people with Sophia. And notice it's 4 different plots. So each plot with a Sophia is highlighted now with the pips as all the other pips have gone away. A Sophia Aslan, a Sophia Rainier, a Sophia Moore Whiteside, and a Sophia Whiteside Moore Hoyle. All with different dates of death, or in this case I think that one's a birth, because this cemetery didn't exist until after 1816. And we can click on any one of these, it highlights it and zooms us right into the plot, and has the rest of the information on who is buried in there or plot occupants, as well as date purchased and who's the owner. Fully searchable. This button here is an overlay of the cemetery with the surrounding area. Eventually you want to add things like if businesses sponsor the cemetery, you want to add them onto this map so people can go to this bigger overview and see where the sponsorship companies are. If they're a restaurant or a gas station or a golf course or whatever, they'd be put onto this map, as well as get a special sponsorship page. In this button here, if we were on the cemetery grounds with a cell phone or an iPad or some other GPS enabled device, would show you where you are located in the cemetery. But because I'm on my desktop computer, the next town over, it just gives this error, failed to locate you via GPS, because I'm not on cemetery grounds. Otherwise, if I was, it would mark my location with a little blue circle on the map. Okay, adding plots is relatively easy. We just click on a plot, so let's say 79 here. I don't think there's anyone in it, but this is E section. We typed in the lot number, 79, and as long as there's a database entry, so if you've got a database in Excel or something, we can import this into the program and use it with this search feature to add all the plots in. which is great when the entire cemetery is mapped out, like with this old 1860s map, and by sections, because we put all that information in there. And then it's just a case of when you're adding the old data, all you have to do is search the database. You put a pip down, search the database by typing in section, lot number, and part, because there's some that have like 99H, 97F. You put in section E, 95 or 96E, and over here, so section, cemetery section, plot number, and then plot part if it's subdivided, which this cemetery did. You hit search, and now we have E79 for 79 right here in section E, the notes, the size notes, and written out the square footage of the plot. I think that plot is not remotely near that size, but the map, the hand-drawn map back then was a bit weird. There's no occupants here yet. There's no one that has purchased this plot. There's no owners or anything. So we can use, say, yes, use these details. And then we refresh. And now, if I turn the overlay back on, plot 79 in section E is marked and has all that information we just imported from the database. And then if I wanted to, I can delete this plot using the delete plot button. And then poof, it's gone. So you can add plots and delete plots that easily. Adding someone is also incredibly easy, so we'll pick on the Gettys. No particular reason, I just saw them and I liked the name. So we can add occupants really easily just by adding this. You hit add a grave, you can type in the name. I'm just going to use Doe John, date of birth 1000, date of death 2000, he lived to 1,000 years old, delete as part of demo. And now we save, and there is now a John Doe who lived 1,000 years and is buried in this plot. We can click on him, and then we can delete person. Done, and he's already back out. It is that easy to add people and remove people from this thing here. To add plots, if you don't have the database, let's say it's a new plot entirely from a newly mapped section, is relatively easy. I'm just going to put a plot in the middle of a lake. Well, it's supposed to be a lake. At the time it was drained for some maintenance. So click there. You can go down to manual entry, so we'll make this D. We'll put in lot number 404, error, lot not found. Lot number, letter, there won't be any. Notes, delete as part of demo. Size notes, 10 by 10 in pond. Square footage, let's say that'll be 100 square feet. And the price was $857. We can save. And now there's a new plot right there with all the information we typed in. From there we can add ownership information. So we can add an owner. We'll put the purchase date as 12/01/2023. Add an owner. Doe John. No suffix, we'll just leave it that way. Save. And now there's John Doe. He's in there as the plot owner. And then we can add a grave again. We'll just skip that entire thing because it's actually completely optional if you are missing the date of birth or the date of death. It's completely optional. You don't have to put it in there, which is great. We had issues where in this cemetery, some places had date of birth and they didn't have the date of death, which is weird. And then some of them had the date of death, but they didn't have a date of birth. And it was actually a required entry at one point, and we had issues putting data in, so we just made them both optional, because sometimes that data is missing. So there we go. So that's now a plot added to the cemetery. And again, if you don't want that there, or if you made a mistake and put it in the wrong spot, delete plot, and it's gone. That easy. The only annoying thing that I wish we could do, but isn't a feature yet, is click in and then, say, dragging it across the map. So if you put a pip in the wrong spot, you just want to move it over a plot, just click and drag it over. That's not a feature. You have to delete the plot and then make a new plot, pretty much. But other than that, we made this as straightforward and as usable as possible. And it's fully searchable, easy to add plots, easy to edit plots, to add burials, easy to add owners, just as user-friendly as we could possibly make it. I hope you've enjoyed this little video, and I'll talk to you later. Thank you.